What's up, everybody? Steve Nanney Music back with you. It's 2020, the middle of a pandemic, epidemic, whatever kind of demic it is. It's a Saturday night. It's a little bit late. I should be on stage right now, but I'm not, thanks to coronavirus. So, am I supposed to be wearing a mask while I make the video? I mean, what are the rules now? I'm going to go look up our local ordinances as it pertains to wearing a mask. Then we'll start this video over again. All right, we're throwing caution to the wind. So, Steve Nanney Music back with you. And today we're going to talk about a life-changing decision. A huge, major decision in my musical journey that happened 1 year ago this month. I made the personal decision to ditch my cabinet, ditch my amp, and go completely with the Kemper for live performances exclusively. So let's get into it. I'll talk to you, tell you what I think, what I like, the couple of things I don't like, and give you my overall impressions after having used this thing for 1 year. So let's do it. So a lot of people have issues with not using cabinets on stage, especially bass players. They seem to, a lot of them seem to be opposed to it. I have yet to figure it out. A lot of sound men that I talked to over the past year love me. They don't have to fight my stage volume with the front of house. They give me an XLR mic cable, plug it in, boom, I'm done. And they have total control over my volume. I mix my own in-ears on stage. I've got an iPad. I get my mix the way I want it to. We have our own rack. We take it wherever we go. But it was a big decision to go that route, but one that I do not regret one bit. So that's why I want to make this video, recap how it's working, how I like it, what maybe I don't like about it, or what situations I don't think it works great. And there's a ton of informational videos about the Kemper, talking about tones and what all sounds it makes and all the things it'll do. This is not that video. This is one for bass players who are on the fence, who are thinking about it. Hey, maybe what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages? This is who this video is for. So let's dive into this. Here we go. So let's talk about my live rig that I was using before I went to the Kemper. I was running a Mark bass 410 cabinet, little Mark Tube 800 head. Sounded great. I mean, it really did. Sounded good. Oh, the cabinet was on wheels. I tried to make everything as streamlined as possible to make load-in as simple as it possibly can be. But the band I work with, we play tons of different venues, if it's big stages, if it's small stages. And the small stages are always harder to load into than the big stages. It never fails. So, I had a pedal board also with some pedals, and I had a DI on that pedal board. The Lael bass switch IQ DI. That's what I was using. Still got it. Great piece of equipment. Love that thing. So I would run a signal from the pedal board to my amp so I'd get the tone on stage that I wanted. But I would also send a signal straight out of the pedal board, out of that DI, straight to the front of the house. So they got a clean signal. The amp did not color anything. It got exactly the tone that I was looking for that went to the front of the house. So that's kind of how I ran my rig for a long time. And then the funniest thing happened. We were we were doing some shows up in Ohio, and our guitar player, he uses a Kemper. He was talking about how the Kemper can model different amps, how you can profile your own amp into the Kemper. And he said, man, we had some time to kill one morning. We were doing a double header at the same venue, no load in, tear down or anything. But he had his Kemper with him. He took it back to the hotel room. He said, man, let's model your pedal board. Let's run that DI through the Kemper and see what we come up with. So that's what we did. And doing an A to B comparison, I'm sitting there, I'm playing my bass, I got my headphones on, and he's A-Bing Kemper to what we just profiled into the Kemper versus the bass switch IQ DI. I couldn't tell any difference at all. Zero difference. And that immediately sold me on the Kemper. Like most players, I take my tone very seriously, and I've looked and worked a long time to try to find the tone I like and find a way to get it to translate through the PA and get it to sound that way through the house system, and I was pleased with what I was getting at the time. But then we profiled that into that Kemper, sounded incredible. So the next day, sitting in an RV at the venue waiting to do our show, actually on my phone ordered the Kemper Profiler Stage. Got it, have loved it ever since. Great piece of equipment. So the point of this video, I figured I would do like an A-B comparison. I would play, the same bass line through the rig that I was using, the DI straight out of off my pedal board, and then play the same thing through the Kemper and just hear the difference. I'll tell you right now, headphones, if you really are serious about wanting to know how this sounds, get some decent headphones and plug them in, because, on a computer speaker or a laptop or phone speaker, you're not going to be able to tell anything. We're bass players. We live in the lower frequencies that these little tiny speakers don't really seem to pick up. So get some headphones, check it out. And, if you're on the fence about one, or if you thought about it, hopefully you'll dig it. So we'll do that, and then I'll come back. I'll give you my pros and my cons, and just kind of overall, what to think about it. So, there's not a lot of difference in the two. Honestly, the main difference on those, it's the same base. I used a Sire V7 base, alder body, ebony neck. Bass boosted just a little bit, trebles up just a tad. The tone about 3/4 of the way up, and the mids sweeped just a little bit. And I did not change anything on the bass. I basically plugged in my pedal board, played those couple of 3 lines, plugged in the Kemper, played those couple of 3 lines. The difference that you can hear is probably the compressor. That's the one thing that the Kemper maybe could do a little better with, is some of the effects that it has. My pedal board, I run a Keeley Compressor Pro. Love that thing. It's great. It's a little more versatile than the compressor that's built into the Kemper. But that being said, there's not a lot of difference, and for what it cost me to build my pedal board versus buying the Kemper might be a better value, just to be real honest with you. That's the compressor is probably the main difference in the volume, but you can tell the tone is, right on. It sounds almost identical, especially in context. So, here's I played along to a little backing track, Stevie Wonder, I Wish, great tune. Played along with that just so you could see the difference between the two in context, in a song, in a musical setting. And there virtually is no difference. So check that out. So that's the difference. Very, very, very little, if any, especially, when the whole band's playing. That's, you couldn't tell the two apart, really. The only area where maybe the Kemper is not a great idea, if you have a PA that's not willing or not able to carry the low end. Then sometimes it's nice to have a cabinet on stage. That's the only time that I would say maybe the Kemper is not a good choice. We play smaller venues. I'm cranked up through the front of the house. Sure, it sounds maybe a little weird if somebody walks around behind the speakers, but how many people, how many times are people going to be back there? If they're out front of the house where they're supposed to be, it's going to sound like $1 million. That's what it does. It's like our guitar player. It's a little green box that eats amps' souls, and it's the truth. And plus, my load in, I carry my bass over the shoulder. I've got my case with my Kemper. I go rolling in, mic cable, pow, I'm ready to go. I mean, it's that easy. It's got the built-in tuner, you know, and I mean, well, I love my pedal board, don't get me wrong, but you know, cables get knocked loose, the little connection cables get worn out. Every once in a while, you know, it can leave you hanging in a pinch, you know. Kemper, not so much. And the huge advantage to the Kemper, I also do some acoustic gigs, so I can plug an acoustic guitar into it. It's got some great acoustic patches. If I'm doing recording, you know, if, you know, I did some recording sessions with a friend of mine not too long ago, and he's like, well, let me get my amp out. I was like, man, just plug into this. We went through, dialed up a tone that fit what we were doing. And I mean, he was blown away with how great it sounded. So, you know, for everything you get, for all the guitar profiles and the bass profiles, you can't beat it, in my opinion, for the price. Plus the fact that you can, if you've found a tone that you like, you have an amp that you love, or something particular that makes you and have your sound, you know, you can profile that thing into the Kemper and it's going to sound like you. No matter where I go and what I plug into, I sound like me. It's got my tone, it's got the sound I'm looking for, and that's it. And like I say, front of house guys love me. I mean, love me. Almost every single one of them compliment on how good it sounds. And they also tell me, man, thank you. I don't have to find this or fight this wall of speakers that all these bass players bring in here, trying to overpower the house system, you know, because that's what it's all about. You know, you can't be too loud on stage, no matter how much you want to be and how much, you know, man, I gotta push some air. You know, I'm a bass player. You know, it's all about moving air. Yeah, that's true. Bass is about, you know, moving air through a system, through a PA. Let the PA do the work, you know. You don't need to be doing it on stage. Plus the rest of you guys in your band, they'll like you better too. So, anyway, that's my take on the Kemper. Stay tuned. I'm also going to do a video too of my stage rig, kind of how it works, you know, and the case I've got, and show you exactly how simple my load-in is. And that will be another key deciding factor into whether or not you think a Kemper is for you. You know, like I say, if you're on the fence, hopefully this video maybe helped you. You know, I haven't seen a lot of videos from a bass player's perspective talking about the Kemper. It's more of a guitar player's tool is, you know, kind of I guess how it's looked at, but it's got some cool stuff for the bass too. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it's informative. You know, give it a like, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, all that stuff. You know, again, I'm in no way endorsed by Kemper. I paid full retail price for mine when it came out. You know, no product changes hands, nothing like that. This is just my opinion, and I hope it helps somebody. You know, hey, keep rocking. Hopefully with all this this virus and COVID junk, maybe we'll all get back to working. You know, like I said earlier, it's a Saturday night and I'm sitting here. I should be gigging right now. I should be on a stage somewhere. Instead, I'm sitting in my office making this video. And while I enjoy making the videos, it kind of sucks that I'm making it on a night that I should be out playing music. So anyway, till next time, take care, be good to each other. See you soon.